a girl named Cinderella lived in a far-off land. Please may I be your humble storyteller. This is how it all began.
Cinderella lived with her father and two stepsisters in a land that was ruled over by a fascinating prince. Although Cinderella's father was a baron and she lived in a castle, she didn't have a very happy life. Her father was known as Baron Hardup because he was so poor and very much in debt. To make matters worse, Cinderella's stepsisters were vain and unkind. In fact, Cinderella didn't have many friends at all. Apart from her cat Whiskers, her only other friend at the castle was the Baron's manservant, Buttons. Buttons could always be relied on to stick up for Cinderella when the ugly sisters were nagging her. This infuriated them, and they were always telling Buttons to take a fortnight's notice without wages. But as the Baron was already 3.5 years behind with Buttons' wages, Buttons simply ignored the ugly sisters and stayed on to take care of Cinderella and the Baron as best he could. One morning, Cinderella awoke to find that she'd been so tired the night before that she'd fallen asleep by the kitchen fire. Cinderella stretched and looked around her well-kept kitchen. But as she stretched, she had awoken Whiskers. He opened one eye and gave her an accusing look over his paws. He looked so funny that Cinderella couldn't help laughing.
Oh, good morning, Whiskers. It's such a lovely day.
Cinderella was feeling on top of the world. She'd positively danced out of the kitchen and down the little path that led to the forest. It was really a lovely morning.
The world is waking, the clouds are breaking, the birds begin their roundelay. The dawn is yawning, it's a lovely morning, it's gonna be that kind of day. The sun is rising on the horizon to sweep the shadows far away. The flowers are dressed in their Sunday best. It's going to be that kind of day. Have you ever seen the grass so green that's except for a daisy or two? And surprisingly, the willow tree is laughing the way they seldom do. The bees are buzzing, the trees are fussing to put on their very best display. I never knew a sky so blue. It's going to be that kind of day. Mr. Scarecrow's got a brand new hat, and he's chasing the blackbirds away. But my cunning little lazy cat is trying to get them all to stay. The bees are buzzing, the trees are fussing to put on their very best display. I never knew a sky so blue. It's going to be that kind of day.
Although it was early in the morning, the creatures of the forest were already about their business, and Cinderella herself started to gather firewood. She didn't notice that she was walking quite far into the forest. And when she did, she was just about to turn back towards home when she noticed an old lady who was gathering firewood in a glade nearby. Cinderella stood for a moment and watched as the old lady hobbled around looking for sticks. And then suddenly, impulsively, she ran over to her.
Oh, please take my firewood.
The old lady straightened up and looked at Cinderella. For a moment, although she'd never seen her before, Cinderella felt she knew the old lady and had always known her.
You are very kind, Cinderella. But if you give me your firewood, you'll have to gather some more, and that will make you late for breakfast.
I don't mind. Anyway, it won't take me long to gather some more sticks. Really, it won't. Besides, I don't mind being late.
In actual fact, of course, Cinderella's heart sank at the thought of being late home. She knew how her stepsisters would scold if their breakfast wasn't ready on time. But the little old lady, she looked so frail and so tired that Cinderella couldn't bear the thought of her collecting her own firewood.
Here, please take these sticks.
The old lady hesitated for a moment, then smiled and took the firewood.
I shan't forget your kindness, my dear. One day I hope I'll be able to do something to repay you. Goodbye, Cinderella.
The old lady turned and soon disappeared from sight into the forest. Cinderella started to gather more firewood. Then something rather strange occurred to her.
She called me Cinderella. How did she know my name?
While Cinderella was gathering the sticks, the prince was out hunting in the very same forest. As a prince of the blood, Prince Charming was expected to lead the hunt. But there was one drawback to this. The prince was a kind young man who liked animals. In fact, he liked them much too much to want to kill them for sport. So he always led the hunt, then thought of a reason why he hadn't been able to capture the hunted animal. At first, his courtiers were furious. Then it became quite good fun trying to guess what excuse the prince would think of today. And finally, they enjoyed themselves better than they did in the old days. This particular morning, the prince and his manservant Dandini were well ahead of the other huntsmen. They were chasing a young deer. Suddenly, the prince reined in his horse.
Whoa, boy, whoa!
The prince looked around, then pointed to a tall oak tree.
That's an exceptionally interesting bird up there. Very rare, I think.
A sparrow, I think, Your Highness.
A sparrow, you say? Good gracious, you do surprise me. And whilst we've been looking at a mere sparrow, that deer has escaped.
Escaped? Good gracious, you do surprise me.
I don't fool you, do I, Dandini? Now we've stopped. Let's rest our horses for a while. It's so peaceful here.
The two young men dismounted and let their horses graze.
You know, Dandini, I'm dreading this ball tomorrow night. All the same dreary princesses will be there. I know I'm supposed to marry, but oh, it's not as much fun being a prince as you'd think.
I suppose not.
You don't sound very sure about it. You ought to try it. That's it. You ought to try it. It's not as much fun being me as you seem to think. To be me is a problem, so I'd rather be you. But if I'm you, I'm not me, so it's confusing. To be me is a problem, but what can I do? I'm a prince, and at times it's not amusing. People fawn and they flatter, they chatter idle chatter that regally I legally must hear. You may envy my position, but I'd like a requisition to take a trip and quietly disappear.
To be a prince would be delightful. I wouldn't find it frightful. I would face the situation with a smile.
In that case, I have a suggestion. Will you answer me a question? Do you think we could change places for a while?
I'm game to give it a try, but how can we change places?
The people round here don't know me. You've got to deliver some invitations for the ball, haven't you?
Yes.
I'll deliver them instead. We're both dressed for hunting. If you wear my cloak with the royal crest on it and ride my horse, no one will know the difference.
The young men quickly changed cloaks. Dandini felt very regal wearing the prince's beautiful cloak, and the prince felt, well, just like himself.
Quickly, go back and warn the others. We don't want them spoiling the fun.
I beg your pardon, my good man. Just remember to whom you are addressing yourself.
I humbly beg your royal pardon. May I respectfully suggest that your royal highness rides back to warn his humble subjects that his manservant Dandini looks a little different today?
An excellent suggestion. I'll meet you at the edge of the forest by Baron Hardup's castle. You have to deliver some invitations there.
Dandini took the prince's horse and rode away into the forest. The prince took Dandini's horse by the bridle and started to stroll in the opposite direction.
Ah, this is the life for me. A lovely day, no responsibilities, no courtiers and ministers fussing around. Do this, your highness, do that, your highness. I rather like being a nobody.
As the prince strolled happily and freely through the forest, Cinderella was hurrying home. Must have been written in the stars that their paths should cross. The prince led his horse from a thicket into a clearing, and there, hurrying towards him, was the most beautiful girl he'd ever seen.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
May I carry your firewood? It's rather a large bundle for so small a girl.
Thank you, but we may not be going the same way.
Oh, I'm sure we are.
Which way are you going?
Which way are you going?
Along this path.
By a strange coincidence, that's exactly the way I'm going. Allow me to introduce myself. Dandini, manservant to His Royal Highness Prince Charming.
My name is Cinderella.
It's the loveliest name I ever heard.
The prince took the firewood from Cinderella, and together they walked along the forest path back to the castle. Seemed an enchanted morning to them both. Something they'd remember always. But when they got to the edge of the forest, the ugly sisters were out looking for Cinderella.
I must go. Goodbye.
We'll have to find more work for it. Yes, I know.
Cinderella took the firewood from the startled prince and ran off before he had a chance to say anything.
Wait! When shall I see you again? I don't know where you live.
He started to follow her, but the ugly sisters were already bearing down on him.
Oh, good morning, you gorgeous thing, you.
Leave him alone. You know he's my type. Under 100 and breathing.
The sisters grabbed hold of the prince's arms and started to drag him into the castle garden.
You, I saw him first. Let go.
He wants to take me for a walk. Take your hands off him.
Oh, get out of your way.
Ladies,
You are.
please! May I ask, who are you?
Well, my name is Mabel Harder.
Yeah, and I'm going...
Get off. And this may come as a body blow to you, but this is my sister Lavinia. Oh, I did it when there's an R in the month.
Oh, delighted, I'm sure.
we're having that bit, are we?
Lovely. What a galaxy of talent. Oh, I've never seen anything quite so collective.
Ladies, please. Your behavior is unseemly.
Who do you think you are, anyway?
I am Dandini, the prince's valet.
Oh, nothing but a common varlet.
Oh, dear, I shall have to have me hand fumigated.
Oh, yes.
I bring invitations to Baron Hardup and his daughters to attend the prince's ball.
I'm his daughter. Give them to me.
No, who do you think I am, then? I'm his daughter, but I am the pretty one.
Good old me.
Get off, you great lump, Lavinia.
Look,
Stop
what's that?
flashing yourself about. Give the tickets to me, thank you.
I'm sorry, but I must give them to the Baron.
You've no right to keep our invitations from us. We know the prince, you know.
Do you really?
Yes, and we'll tell him about you.
Oh, well.
I mean, after all, we only deal with noblemen.
You mean noblemen.
You noble what you want, and I'll noble what I want.
Oh, Mabel!
Ladies, there is no point in pursuing this matter any further. Here are your invitations, and pray, don't tell your very good friend the prince about it.
The ugly sisters snatched the invitation. Just at that moment, Dandini, dressed, of course, as the prince, came into sight. Without further ado, the prince mounted his horse and swept off his hat to the two ugly sisters.
Your servant, ladies.
Then he quickly cantered away from the horrible pair.
Look! Oh, no! Lavinia, there's the prince! Oh!
Of course, she thought Dandini was the prince.
Oh, wait for us, Princey dear!
They started to run towards the group of huntsmen, but the prince, Dandini, and the courtiers galloped away into the forest.
Rotten lot.
Yeah. Still, we'll meet the prince at the ball tomorrow night, eh? Oh, lovely.
They turned back into the castle garden.
There are 4 invitations here. One for you,
One for me.
and one for me, and one for our dear stepfather, and
One for Oh, Mabel, what a sauce. As if we'd ever been seen dead in the same ballroom as that little kitchen maid.
Oh, that's true. Here, Lavinia.
What?
Do you know what I'm going to do?
No, but I bet it's rotten.
I'm actually up.
No, Mabel, what are you going to do?
Well, I am going to tear it into teeny-weeny little pieces. I've upset myself.
Here, listen, Mabel.
What?
And then, do you know what I'm going to do?
No! What are you going to do?
I'm going to jump on it.
That should bury it several feet underground.
Oh, you spiteful thing. Oh, I may be a little bit overweight.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, wouldn't you?
No. I'd just say that you was fat.
Oh, you rotten nasty thing.
Shut your big cake hole. Come on, let's go and have our breakfast.
Yes, and I'm going to give Cinderella what for being late.
I might even give her what 5. Jokes keep coming out.
You're so witty, Mabel, aren't you?
They hurried across the castle garden and into the kitchen. Cinders was serving breakfast.
Hello, breakfast is all ready now, and I've lit the fire, and the porridge is all steaming. I've got cream to put on it, and lovely fresh eggs for afterwards.
I should hope so, too.
Yes, I should think. Why was it late, you lazy thing? How long does it take to cook an egg?
You're only cooking it, you know, not laying it. I'm off again. Yes.
The Baron was absent-mindedly eating his porridge. He was a scholarly old man who lived for his books. He loved Cinderella dearly, but he was no match for his ugly stepdaughters.
Now, girls, don't squabble.
Mind your own business.
Yeah, go you put your nose in.
But
It's all right, Father, really it is. Don't upset yourself.
My porridge is too hot.
Well, blow on it then.
No, I won't. I want milk on it. Go and get me some milk at once, Cinderella.
Buttons has come into the kitchen and has been listening.
It's all right, Cinders. I'll get the milk. Why don't you two leave her alone? You're always getting at her.
No, we're not.
I told Cinderella to get the milk, not you.
Yes, I should think so.
How can you be so cruel? She works for you from morning till night. Cinders does too much around here.
Oh, bounce up, Buttons. Ooh.
Lavinia picked up her bowl of porridge and hurled it at Buttons. But Buttons was used to this behaviour, and he was very good at ducking. He ducked out of the way of the flying porridge, and it sailed through the air right into Mabel's face. Buttons, Cinderella, and the Baron simply couldn't stop themselves, roaring with laughter.
Now look what you've done! Ian says you might be calling me fat. It wasn't my fault, it was Buttons. He shouldn't have ducked. Then take that!
Oh!
Mabel hit Buttons over the head with the empty porridge plate and stormed out.
Oh!
Are you all right, Buttons?
Oh, yes, thanks, Cinders. I've got a tough nut.
I don't know why she's grumbling. She needed a face pat before the Prince's Ball tomorrow night anyway.
Is Prince Charming getting a ball? Oh, how lovely.
Yes. Here's your invitation, Father. If you want your Cinderella, you better start hunting in the garden. We tore it into teeny little weeny bits. You at the Prince's Ball. The very idea.
Lavinia swept out of the kitchen. The Baron got slowly to his feet, shaking his head.
oh, why do they have to be so spiteful? I'm sorry, Cinderella. I'll try to get you another invitation.
No, Father, they'd never let me go to the ball. It's all right. Who wants to go to a silly old ball anyway?
The Baron, his head bowed, went sadly out of the kitchen.
Oh, Buttons, I should have liked to have gone to the ball. You see, I met someone today who's sure to be there, and, well...
He's a lucky fellow, Cinders. Never mind. Perhaps something will turn up.
Perhaps. But it never seems to, Buttons. Well, not to me.
Cinderella looked so sad that Buttons felt his heart would break. He tried to think how he could cheer her up.
You know, Cinders, this may look like a castle kitchen to you, but to me, it's a magnificent ballroom.
Ballroom? You are silly. How could this be a ballroom, Buttons?
Of course. Where's your imagination, Cinders? What does this look like to you?
It looks just like a saucepan to me, Buttons.
Absolutely wrong, my lady. I am a dashing cavalry officer in a splendid scarlet uniform, and this is my helmet.
And with that, Buttons put the saucepan upside down on his head. Cinderella started to smile. No more than that. She was beginning to laugh.
Oh, Buttons, you're so silly.
Buttons? Never heard of the fellow. Allow me to introduce myself. Captain Baron von Forsten of His Majesty's Royal Horse Guard. Would you do me the honour of dancing with me?
Oh, Buttons, don't be so silly. I just can't go on pretending.
Come on, Cinders. Can't you see the ballroom? Lovely dresses? The orchestra? Glittering chandeliers? It only takes a little bit of imagination. Let's imagine. This is a ballroom. Look at the orchestra. All in red. See the conductor. Great big mustachio. Raising his baton to show he is ready. Madam, will you dance with me? Don't you think it's a beautiful melody? Let's imagine, if you'll agree, I'm in love with you, you're in love with me. We'll see all the world go by. We will hear them applauding for you and I. And perhaps it will all come true. Who knows what imagination will do? Let's imagine I'm a rich merchant. Lots of money. Lots of land. Let's imagine while we're about it, I'm quite attractive. In fact, very handsome. Madam, will you dance with me? Don't you think it's a beautiful melody? Let's imagine if you'll agree. I'm in love with you. You're in love with me. We'll see all the world go by. We will hear them applauding for you and I. And perhaps it will all come true. Who knows what imagination will do? Who knows what imagination will do?
Buttons waltzed Cinderella all around the kitchen until they were both breathless and dizzy.
Oh, that was fun. Oh, I wish it was real, Buttons.
Who?
Oh, I beg your pardon. Captain Von Saucepan. It's just that you look so like a friend of mine called Buttons.
I am your friend, Cinders. And I always will be. I'd do anything to make you happy. Remember that, won't you?
Buttons went quickly out of the kitchen, leaving Cinderella alone with her thoughts. She managed to keep quite cheerful all through that day and the next. But in the evening, when everyone had left for the ball, it wasn't so easy. Buttons was acting as coachman for the night, so she was all alone in the castle. She sat by the fire and tried very hard not to cry.
If only I could find someone to love me in his special way. If only I could find someone who needs me day after day. If only If only someone would take me over the rainbow into my dreams. I know I'd never be lonely if I could find someone to love only me. If only this could be.
Suddenly, there was a knock at the door.
Come in.
She crossed to the kitchen door and opened it. The old lady she'd met in the forest was standing there. The old lady came into the kitchen.
Oh, you must be so cold. Come and sit by the fire and get warm.
No, I haven't time for that. We've got to get you on your way to the ball.
To the ball? Me? But how? I've no dress to wear for a ball.
Cinderella, I am your fairy godmother.
My fairy godmother?
There was no sign of the little old lady. Instead, a beautiful fairy godmother stood in front of Cinderella.
Now I must get you ready for the ball.
But that's impossible. I'd love to go, but how can I?
By magic, of course. Now, fetch me a pumpkin, some white mice, and let's see now. Yes, some lizards. Hurry up. The first dance at the Princess' Ball will be starting any minute now.
Cinderella did as she was told. She fetched the pumpkin, the mice, and the lizards for the fairy godmother.
Now your wildest dreams come true. I'll use my magic powers and cast a spell for you.
The fairy godmother waved her wand, and there, right outside the kitchen door, waiting for Cinderella, was a golden coach drawn by 6 white ponies. The coachman and the footman were dressed in cloth of gold. They bowed. They bowed to Cinderella.
Oh, fairy godmother.
Now that dress will never do.
She waved her wand again, and Cinderella was transformed into a lovely princess. She looked beautiful. Her gown was of gossamer, her shoes were made from crystal, diamonds sparkled at her throat and in her hair. The footman stood to attention and then helped her into the coach.
How can I ever thank you, fairy godmother?
I need no thanks, child, but be warned. My magic powers wane at midnight. You must leave the ball when the clock strikes 12. Otherwise your gown will change to tatters, your pony to mice, and your coat to a pumpkin. So don't forget, you must leave by midnight.
I won't forget, and thank you for everything, fairy godmother.
Then goodbye, and Godspeed. And don't forget, you must leave by midnight.
The ponies leapt forward and the coach sped through the night towards the royal castle. As they raced along, it seemed to Cinderella they were travelling along a moonbeam. And who knows, perhaps they were. In no time at all, anyway, the palace came in sight. Torches flared at the palace gates, and the palace itself was lit by 1,000,000 candles. Cinderella had arrived at the ball. Silver and crystal candelabra of the ballroom glistened in the candlelight as the orchestra played a waltz. Dancers whirled around the dance floor, their shadows flickering against the walls, the women's jewels, silk and satin gowns, creating an ever-changing pattern of shimmering colour. It truly was a magnificent sight. The prince was standing at the bottom of the staircase that led to the ballroom, welcoming his guests. Dandini was by his side. But Dandini knew there was something wrong. Yesterday the prince had seemed so happy, but today, although he greeted his guests warmly enough, his eyes were sad. Just then the major domo announced,
The Baron Hardup, his daughters Lavinia and Mabel.
The prince's heart sank when he saw the ugly sisters, but he politely stepped forward to greet them.
Welcome, ladies. Baron?
But the ugly sisters were making a beeline for Dandini. They were still under the impression that he was the prince.
I greeted your highness,
Granted, I'm sure.
Save the last waltz for me, Prince. It's all the most romantic.
Oh, that's if he's got the strength after dancing all evening with me.
Oh, fancy.
The prince decided the time had clearly come for him to explain matters.
Ladies, may I have a word with you?
Cheeky. He's been following us about, you know. Mere servant, something to say.
Go away.
Yes, go
all
away.
my dances are booked. Mind you, she's got a few vacancies.
But we don't want nothing to do with you.
No, not nothing.
No.
Dandini came to the rescue.
Ladies, there's some mistake. I am not Prince Charming. This is Prince Charming. Shall I present you?
What? Oh, you're ever so humble, Your Highness.
no.
If only we know better. You made the mistake. Shut up.
But their protestations were cut short. Cut short by the major domo announcing another guest.
Her Royal Highness, the Princess Crystal.
Cinderella stood at the top of the staircase and looked down at the glittering scene in the ballroom. As soon as the prince saw her, he had no eyes for the ugly sisters or anybody. He walked quickly up the staircase, took Cinderella's hand, and led her down the stairs. They made such a handsome couple that all the dancers stopped and looked at them. The crowd were buzzed with speculation as to who she was. The ugly sisters were very proud.
Well, really, Mabel, going off and leaving us like that, and me with me engine running.
Oh, no, what's she got that we haven't got?
The Prince.
Oh, you know, she looks a bit like our Cinders.
Cinders? You mean Cinderella?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you daft thing. I told you should have worn your glasses.
Oh,
After that shock, I need a drink.
Oh, what a charming idea. Here, Rita.
It's
Rita. What have you got?
So we have champagne, brandy, red wine, white wine, and the finest whiskey.
Oh, that sounds like a nice mixture.
Yes, I'll have one of them.
Dandini gestured to the orchestra to start playing the waltz again. The prince held out his hand to Cinderella.
Princess, will you dance with me? Don't you think it's a beautiful melody? Let's imagine if you'll agree. I'm in love with you, you're in love with me. We'll see all the world go by. We will hear them applauding for you and I. And if you feel the way I do, who knows what imagination will do?
The prince took Cinderella into his arms and swept her out onto the dance floor.
I'm not dreaming, am I? It is you, the girl I met in the forest.
Yes, Dandini. I'm so very pleased to see you again. I thought I never would.
And I thought that I had lost you. I'll never let you go again.
For once, the prince forgot his royal duties completely and danced every single dance with Cinderella. They were so obviously in love that, with the exception of the ugly sisters, the guests didn't really mind at all. Time seemed to stand still for Cinderella as she whirled around the ballroom in the arms of the prince. But time hadn't stood still.
The clock is striking. What time is it?
Midnight, the enchanted hour.
Midnight?
The clock was still striking as Cinderella ran from the prince's arms and up the staircase, out into the night. The prince ran after Cinderella, but by the time he reached the top of the staircase, she was lost from sight. The prince called to his footmen to search for her. The prince, his courtiers, and his servants searched the palace and the palace grounds. The only thing they found was a little crystal slipper. Dandini brought it to the prince.
Your Highness, we couldn't find her, but we found this crystal slipper.
Then whoever this slipper fits will be my bride. Let it be known throughout my kingdom that whoever this crystal slipper fits, I will wed. Dandini, at first light tomorrow we start the search. Make everything ready. Send messengers throughout the length and breadth of the land.
Proclamation! Proclamation! Proclamation!
Let it be known throughout this royal land. Let it be known throughout this royal land.
Let it be known throughout this royal land
That the prince decrees a royal command. That the prince decrees a royal command.
that the prince decrees a royal command that he will wed the princess who lost this tiny crystal slipper.
So search the land both far and wide. The prince wants Princess Crystal for his bride.
And so they went out into the highways and the byways. They ran by the brooks and by the meadows. They tried to find out where the Princess Crystal lived. They stopped at the little cottages. They stopped at the great big castles. But it was all in vain. Meanwhile, Cinderella was longing to find out what had happened after she left the ball. At noon, the ugly sisters were still asleep, so she carried their breakfast into them on a tray.
Good morning, sisters. I brought your breakfast.
The ugly sisters took the tray, as usual, without thanking Cinderella, and Cinderella waited.
What are you hanging about for?
Yeah, clear off. Haven't got enough work today, that's your trouble.
I was just wondering if you had a nice time at the ball.
Of course we did. The prince made a great fuss of us, didn't he, Mabel?
She got my nerves a bit, actually. Yeah, well, that was until some princess arrived and simply tore him away from us, didn't he?
Princess?
Yes, Princess Crystal, something like that. I never heard of her.
No, the prince danced every dance with her, didn't he?
Yes,
The prince danced every dance with her.
yes, disgraceful, I call it, ain't you?
He's got no taste at all.
No,
has
none
he?
in his mouth.
But I thought...
Yes?
I thought he had to dance with all his guests.
Well, he didn't.
Oh.
And then this silly Princess Crystal creature went running off at midnight and spoilt the ball, didn't
Oh,
she?
absolutely.
Whatever did the prince do?
Oh, he found a crystal slipper and said he's going to marry whoever it fits.
Quick, get up, Mabel. The prince might come here today.
What do you mean?
Oh, I bet the slipper's bound to fit me.
Fit you? You get your foot in the crystal slipper.
Yes.
You can get your foot in the crystal palace.
Oh, Mabel!
Cinderella slipped from the room whilst they went on arguing. Of course, her mind was in a turmoil. The young man she was in love with, whom she was sure loved her, wasn't Dandini. He was Prince Charming himself. What was she to do if he came to the castle? Meanwhile, the ugly sisters were flying about their bedroom getting dressed, and arguing, and squabbling, all the time.
Hey, that's my necklace. No, it's not. It's mine. Give it me.
It wouldn't go round your fat neck.
Oh! Woo! Take that! Get out of my way. I've got to get ready for the prince.
Oh, I shouldn't bother if I was you. He's bound to choose me.
He wouldn't touch you with a barge pole. He knows where to come for a bit of class.
Oh, yes.
It's mine. Come on. Oh.
Sister dear.
Yes?
When Prince Charming does appear,
What?
I think that you should vanish out of sight.
Here, you shut your face.
He will think you look so frightening
Our family tree's been struck by lightning. A face like yours should just come out at night.
You can be replaced, you know that. Sister, sister, sister mine.
Yes.
Although you're just too divine, you're not exactly of the upper class.
I was brought up just as well as you were.
Your manners are not quite the best, so pardon me if I suggest it's really time they put you out to grass.
Well, I'm a vegetarian, you know, I can cope with that. Sister, sister, sister pet. You've got a face one can't forget.
I know.
2 eyes, 2 lips, 2 ears, 2 teeth. And yet,
You're ludicrous.
although it's up to requisition, with you, they're in the wrong position. It makes one see how ugly can you get.
Well, you're not exactly Miss World, are you? Sister, sister, sister mine. Flattery is not my line, but you should really know a thing or two.
I'm quite well read for my age.
In your outsized carpet slippers and your feet as flat as clippers, I'd like to recommend you to the zoo.
I'll wave to in your case. Sister, sister, you're too fat.
Sister, sister, you're a cat.
Vulgar,
Common,
stupid,
trash.
and
I knew you'd never get that note. What with one thing and another, I wish that you had been a brother. 'Cause as a sister, sister, you're no good. 'Cause as a sister, sister, you're no good.
Suddenly there was a knock at the door. It was the prince. The ugly sisters hurried downstairs.
We'll answer the door, Cinderella.
Yes, you stay in the kitchen. We don't want you disgracing us.
Stay out of sight, or you'll be sorry.
Yeah.
They went and opened the front door. They curtsied about 5 times each. Then, simpering and giggling, they led the prince into the library. The Baron was sitting in a leather armchair by the fire, reading a book.
Oh, Daddy dear, look who's come to call.
He's looking for a bride, Daddy dear. I'm sorry you're going to lose me at such an early age.
Early? Oh, if you wait any longer, rigor mortis will set in.
Good day, Your Highness.
I am searching for the Princess Crystal. Whoever this slipper fits, I will wed.
Give it me. I'll slip it on a trice.
Oh, Gale.
Oh, the prince will marry me.
Please.
Oh, I'll get him to slip the ring on my finger or bust.
Well, make up your mind which. I'll try the slipper first.
No, I want to.
But Mabel had snatched the slipper from the velvet cushion Dandini was carrying and started to try to force her foot into it. It very obviously was far too small, but Mabel wasn't going to give up without a fight.
Buttons! Buttons! Fetch me a shoehorn! Or a brown ale! Anything! Buttons!
Buttons came running in,
Yes! Fetch me a shoehorn or a...
but Dandini interrupted.
I think not, madam. The slipper has to fit, not to be forced on.
Quite. Let me put my foot in it. Some of us don't know when we're beaten.
Lavinia tried to get the slipper on, but her feet were even bigger than Mabel's. The prince sighed with immense relief, then spoke to the Baron.
These are your only daughters, I take it, sir.
Before the Baron could reply, the ugly sisters answered the prince.
Oh, yes. We're Daddy dear's only daughters.
Yes, just me too.
Yes.
But Buttons was not going to let them get away with it.
Excuse me, your worship, but Cinderella hasn't tried the slipper yet.
You keep quiet, Buttons.
Yeah, button your lip.
Yeah,
Shut
shut up,
Say
you
what
little
he says.
ladies,
That's a
please.
foul servant. That's a...
If you don't stop squawking and squalling, I shall have my royal guards arrested.
Oh.
Perhaps that will teach you some manners.
No, we've been hoodwinked.
Yeah, he's deliberately winked our woods. I'm flabbergasted.
Never has my flabber been so ghasted. Oh!
Disgrace.
The ugly sisters were shattered, but the prince took no notice and turned to Buttons.
Go and fetch this Cinderella. I have said that every lady in the land shall try this crystal slipper.
Buttons ran from the library into the kitchen. He grabbed Cinderella's hand and nearly dragged her back into the library.
This, your royal bigness, is Cinderella.
As soon as the prince saw her, he knew his search had ended.
So you are my Cinderella.
And you are not Dandini.
Will you forgive me?
The slipper, Your Highness.
Ah, yes. I think we'll find it fit.
Cinderella slipped her foot into the crystal slipper. Of course, it fitted. Dandini called to the courtiers.
It fits! The slipper fits! The prince has found his bride! Hooray!
I said once before that I'd never leave you. But I do. You won't ever leave me again, will you?
Cinderella took the prince's hand and smiled up at him.
No, I'll never leave you again.
My dearest Cinderella.
And so Cinderella and her prince were married and lived happily ever after.